Hi everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illumination reading for the sign of Virgo. This is I Am Illuminated tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi everyone and welcome. That's exactly what we're going to be looking at in today's reading. We're going to be looking at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time. We'll be looking at a block or a challenge around that area of focus. We'll get advice from Spirit as to how to overcome that block or challenge. And then we will jump into the level of abundance or spiritual growth that wants to come in for you on the other side. Now, Virgo. Right off the bat, the energy you're coming in with here is the Seven of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. Now, actually, right before I get into all of this, please keep in mind that these readings are general. So only take what resonates. And I have found just in watching other readers that sometimes readings can bring up something from the past that is maybe coming back around again, or is a lesson there waiting to be integrated. So keep that in mind. Okay, so jumping back in here, you have the Seven of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. There seems to be a little bit of an avoidance right now with looking at what is coming in for you. So the Wheel of Fortune can speak to the time is now. It can also speak to fortunate events coming in. It can speak to the turning over of the wheel. So there is a sense of change. There is a sense of a change in fortune. And I'm not going to say that, oh my gosh, it's a negative change in fortune. I mean that there's a change in your life experience happening currently, and there seems to be, this can actually be an opportunity. The Wheel of Fortune can actually be that the wheel is turning in your favor. There's an opportunity coming in. For many of you, there's a level of avoidance around that. Now, obviously, change is scary. And sometimes when things start to happen in our life or the wheel starts to turn, it can feel almost like it's a vortex. Like there's a lot of stuff going on and we're in the middle of that tornado or we're in the middle of that vortex. And it's almost like we're getting pulled into something and we are trying to not see it. Now, what your soul is highlighting for you at the moment is the Tower. The Tower, when we think of the Tower in general, this is the energy of destruction. It's when something in our life experience is now, that had at one point been something that allowed us to have a sense of safety or security or protection, is now something that is holding us back, is blocking us from growth, or is preventing us from attaining a level of abundance that wants to come in. And the Tower can be shocking. It can be something like losing a job that we know we have long outgrown or overstayed. It can be a breakup in a relationship that, again, maybe is not a healthy one. It can be the death of a loved one, something along those lines that shakes up our foundation to its core. But it can also be something that is it can come from something positive. It can come through the birth of a child where all of a sudden your whole life changes, right? And maybe you had one way of doing something forever and suddenly now with a child coming into your life, all those walls have to come down because a new structure needs to be built on a different, more firmer foundation for a family. It can come on the heels of having to move across the world and suddenly now all those, safety and security things you had in place where you lived for maybe many years have now had to be broken down for you to rebuild someplace else. So it's not always a negative thing. It can be a positive thing, but there is a sense here that your soul is illuminating an aspect of your life that is asking to be broken through, to take a look at an area that possibly has been holding you back for some time, because that is what's going to be right here, what you're trying to avoid. There's something that's trying to come in for you that can only come in if the Tower comes down. Now, your main underlying energy is the King of Wands. This is the energy of Leo. But it can also be the energy of wanting to, it's somebody who leads from what they're passionate about. It can be the energy of someone who can be a CEO of a company. It could be someone who is just really passionate about their hobbies in their life and they lead from that place. But with the Nine of Wands and the Seven of Wands underneath that, there's a sense of defending. For some of you, this is literally, it's a change in perspective of ascending to your throne. But yet underneath that, there's a sense of, if I take this new opportunity, if I ascend to this level of personal responsibility, because that is what the King of Wands speaks to. the kings are responsible for how they choose to take action because they have a kingdom to run. So there's an element of responsibility or even social responsibility that can come with the kings. But yet there's a defending of for many of you, you think that in order to get to this point, or maybe step up in a way that you're being asked to lead, that it's going to involve burnout and work, because it seems like there's been a cycle here of that in your life to this point, where the Nine of Wands is someone who is exhausted. It's someone who has gone through many things, has faced many battles, and yes, they may have come out the victor, but it's been a long road to get to this place. And this can actually speak to sometimes getting to that kind of victim mentality where it's like, yep, if I accept this new promotion, well, everybody's just going to pile on all their work on top of me. It's, just like they always do. It can be that kind of perspective. And with the Seven of Wands, this is where we're defending a position. And so I think for many of you, you're defending possibly either defending kind of staying in this victim mentality, or looking at everything as just exhausting, or like if I keep going, it's, every new thing down the road is just going to be a fight or a battle, where instead you're being asked to ascend to the throne. The King of Wands, he has one wand. It's his wand. It's his passion. It's what he chooses to rule by and with and from. He doesn't have 9 wands. And there's a sense here that in order for him to have gotten there, yes, he had to have gone through all those battles. And so intuitively, what I'm feeling for many of you, Virgo, is a recognition of how strong you are, that you have put in the work to achieve king status. It's just now allowing yourself to understand that, allowing yourself to expand. There is a sense of kind of growth, like being too big for your britches a little bit here. It's time to really stand in your authority as the king, but it's going to involve a dramatic change, a change in an area of your life that you felt very secure and safe within. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. We're going to pull some cards now to see what the block or the challenge is. We're going to look at advice from spirit and then the level of abundance that wants to come in. So yeah, we do have the Ace of Wands. Now this could be fresh inspiration. This is literally the spark of genius, the spark of inspiration. This could be a new idea for a creative project, a business venture, or this can represent a child. This can represent conceiving. So for some of you, again, if this is, around maybe having a child, there's a sense here of maybe not wanting to understand or face the changes that come, with the lifestyle change, with moving, with, when we think about it, sometimes having children means, having to leave a job or change your work schedule. But there can also be, if this is just inspiration, this could be where for some of you, it might be where all of a sudden you're connecting to that, you're connecting to creativity, you're connecting to a sense of kind of connecting to your internal flame, that part of ourself that is burning. And there might be a sense of kind of not wanting to look at that because it means that something is going to have to change. This would be like getting all of a sudden that spark of inspiration of like, oh my gosh, I'd love to be a writer. Or maybe you go on a vacation and suddenly there's something that comes in and you're like, I want to do that. I want to live here. I want, whatever it is. And, this could be truly going on vacation, going someplace and saying, this is it. This is where I want to live. And all of a sudden you realize when you go back home, well, that means that I'm going to have to, leave my job. I'm going to have to, get rid of my home or put in my notice, to my landlord. And it's like all of a sudden the reality sets in and you're like, wait a second, I don't know if I can let go of the safety and security at home. And yet you've already felt that spark. Now with the Prince of Pentacles here, which is technically the Knight of Pentacles, this is your energy, Virgo. This is you in the tarot. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is truly the slowest moving knight out of all of the knights, but he is a knight that has a plan. He's a knight that he has forward focus, and he goes one step at a time. Now, with these tied together, there's a sense here of possibly something coming in to either kind of foil a plan, or there's a sense of being challenged to start to incorporate more of whatever this is, whatever the Ace of Wands represents, whether it's inspiration, whether it is an idea, whether it is a creative idea, or whether it's actually a child, giving birth to a child in your life. It's saying there needs to be a change in the plan, and it's got to have a long-term vision. It's got to be step by step. And for many of you, you might not want to face that. It could be like, wait a second, I wasn't expecting this. Or, my original plan was always that I was going to live in this area forever. I was going to capitalize on the house and the money that I have in the equity and whatever. Now it's like, but you want to move to Italy. It's like, okay, well then that means I have to totally change up everything. Now, 10 of Swords at the heart of your reading. This is what Spirit is asking you to embrace or to focus on, to really allow you to overcome this kind of, I think, there can be an analysis paralysis too that comes through with the Prince of Pentacles or the Knight of Pentacles, where there's a sense of like trying to get the plan perfect, trying to look at all the details. And when we're dealing with passion often doesn't touch on the realm of detail, if that makes sense. Like when we're passionate about something, we're just going to do it. We're just going to, go on that third date and just, fully be engrossed with the individual. We're not going to sit there and on that third date talk about every little detail of the next 25 years of that person. We're just going to feel it and go with it. And there's a sense of kind of maybe you feeling this passion, but then there's that part of you who's like, well, no, like that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for me to move to another country because then I'd have to get another job. And what is that job going to look like? And it's like all of a sudden you're like, plus I'm exhausted and it could be more work. But yet you're being asked to step up and take this wand. 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords speaks to a time in your past where you were really struggled, where you were brought to your knees, or where there was a lot of pain involved. That can be any number of things. That can be us just going through a very difficult cycle in our life in general. It could involve, the death of a loved one. It could involve going through a divorce. It could involve, you name it, losing a job and having to financially struggle for a period of time. But the beauty of the 10 of Swords is also that it is the end of a cycle. It is a point of release. And there is clarity, as you can see here with the light coming through the individual's mouth. There's a realization, an illumination, and a truth. So you start the next cycle with the Ace of Swords. There's a truth that you've learned about your experience in going through this 10 of Swords moment, or the 10 of Swords cycle, meaning that, yes, it might have been very difficult in the past, but there's a realization of, yeah, I did financially struggle. I had to pick myself back up from nothing. And yet, here I am. After 10 years of saving, I'm back flush. Maybe I have more than I've ever had. And the realization is, yeah, if I have to move, well, I can do it all over again. I know how to manage my money now. Or it can be having gone through a very difficult relationship, ending or something like that. You can say, the truth of the situation was I learned how to better handle myself in relationships. I maybe worked on codependency issues. And the truth is I got through that. And so now if this Ace of Wands is the spark of love, the flame of passion with someone else, I'm ready to move forward because I know I can handle myself in that. Because on the other side of this, we have the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is beautiful. This is the opportunity for new love, new connection, and a deeper connection with the self, with your own spirit. And with the King of Pentacles, for some of you, there's a sense here of there could be a relationship that is deepening through an inspiration or through a child with either a Taurus in your life or someone who is a very strong earth sign, meaning Taurus, Capricorn, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. What's the other earth sign? Or yourself, Virgo. There we go. Yeah, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So you might have somebody else in your life that really represents this for yourself, that they are very financially stable. They really understand their own value. There's a level of self-worth that's wrapped up in the King of Pentacles. He understands what he's worth. But there could also be an opportunity here for you. So if it's not actually a relationship or kind of furthering love with someone else, this could be where you are really kind of experiencing for yourself your own ability to be a master of your physical experience. You know, the King of Wands and the King of Pentacles, this is a perfect combination for someone who wants to start a business and have it be on very solid footing. Because the King of Pentacles would be the person who's like the chief financial officer. He's the person who's going to get all the things in place, that he's going to know what to charge for the product. He's going to know also, you know, where do we need to go to find a lease? How are we going to execute all of that kind of thing? And the King of Wands is the idea person. This is the person who's on the throne, who's like, oh my gosh, I woke up this morning and I read this thing and I realized we have to do it like this. And they're the person that's coming up constantly with the creative ideas. They're the creative genius. And these two people together with the passion and with the real focus can make something happen in the physical. This is definitely a manifestation duo. So for some of you, this could be about finding this within yourself, or this could be about relying on somebody else in your experience to really help get through this change, or to help actually, when we think of the tower coming down, perhaps build on a new foundation. So if that means that you have to move, or you have to change jobs, or you have to change your routine. Well, this is like saying, okay, manifestation partner, I'm going to step into the energy of love and connection and creativity. And how are we going to, now that the tower has come down, meaning now that our life has changed or something in our experience has changed, how are we going to start to build something stronger together? Because the Four of Wands here represents that firm foundation. The Four of Wands can actually sometimes represent a marriage, because it speaks to a foundation built on passion and a foundation that can be seen and celebrated by and with others. So for some of you, this could literally be building a firm foundation based on a marriage. If this is about children or partnership, this could be about, again, the inspiration of love. This could be about leaning into the emotional kind of vulnerability of love and getting through the pain of a difficult, maybe relationship in the past. This could also be for those of you who, let's say, are building a business. This could literally be about building a new foundation for a future growth of a business. So let's see. I'm going to pull some additional clarifiers here. Okay. Yeah, there's a sense here of maybe even for some of you, this might be the first time in your life where you're actually blending the two aspects of yourself. Your real world practical sense of what you can create in the physical, because you are an earth sign, Virgo. But then maybe this might be the first time where you actually have dived into including your creative side, where you get a chance to really get to that place where you take action from a place based on what you're passionate about, not just because you can build it in the physical, or because you're focused on, you know, the plan or the goal. This is like saying what lights your fire. And there might be a sense of kind of leaving behind where maybe you just had to, you know, keep working, keep going, and you had lost that connection to that spark. And now you get a chance maybe to reconnect these two aspects of yourself, to where you get to kind of take control over your physical experience, but in a way that is going to make room for your passions. So let's see what else wants to. So we're going to go ahead and clarify this Ace of Wands. So let's see what this Ace of Wands is for you, Virgo. We have the Three of Wands. I love it. It's bringing something in for you. There's a sense of your ships coming in, or an opportunity presenting itself. This could also be for some of you, you might have been working a long time for this, and it's like suddenly here it is, and you're like, whoa, wait a second. I mean, when we think about, like, let's say this could be like someone working on having a child, and suddenly it's like, okay, I pulled it towards, the ship came in, here's the child, and you're like, oh my gosh, oh yeah, I love it. The star, a dream. For many of you, there's an opportunity to realize a really important dream in your life that is centered around creative inspiration or children. Beautiful. Okay, let's see what else is here. We have so for the Knight of Pentacles, yep, there's the Ace of Cups again. There's the Tower, and there's the Ace of Coins. So for some of you, I mean, this Prince of Pentacles could actually be another individual in your life. This could be an individual who you have fallen in love with, but it could also be that the plan is coming through. It's almost like the realization of, oh my gosh, with the Ace of Cups and the Tower, it's like allowing yourself to fall in love, allowing yourself to have that connection intimately with someone else, or falling in love with the plan even. And that's what's going to bring the Tower down and start you with the Ace of Pentacles. This is the opportunity for a new cycle to start. The Ace of Pentacles is a fresh start. So this could be where for some of you, let's say you're a big wish fulfillment, a dream fulfillment for you was to have children. And this would be like saying, okay, you're leaning into, even though the way might not be clear, the plan maybe not fully formed, you're just going to lean into it through the energy of love and say, you know what? Okay, I'm going to let the Tower come down. I'm going to see, kind of how this shakes up everything, and I'm allowing this new opportunity. Now, this could also be a person. This could be, if it's you, it could be, again, that you are the one falling in love and you're allowing yourself to fall in love and create this new opportunity. It could also be that you are allowing yourself to reconnect to the spark within, the creative spark. And that's what's leading to a new opportunity. And maybe you're realizing a new long-term goal. But there's a sense that with this kind of being the challenge, and with the 10 of Swords at the heart of your reading, there's a sense of really having to get to release that difficult time, to get the truth out of what that was for you, why you went through it, and how did it allow you to better connect to your passions, better know yourself, and how can you really apply that? Let's see with the 10 of Swords. What wants to come up for the 10 of Swords? Okay, we have Justice. It could involve a legal contract, or the making or breaking of a contract. That's what Justice can speak to. The Hermit, there you are again, Virgo. You got a lot of your own energy here. So the Hermit is a card of going within to find yourself. 7 of Swords, there's a sense here of, again, there's the avoidance. There's a sense of really, I think, honoring your light, honoring the Hermit and the Star are integrally linked. And I'm finding that in more of my readings, these two cards are coming up together in every reading, where the Star comes in, because the stars, where we recognize, that there are a bazillion stars out there, and each one of us has our own unique star. And that star, when we look up in the night sky, is our guiding principle. It's that major dream within our heart that we want to have realized in our life experience. And it's different from everybody else's star. But the Hermit, he's the individual that goes within, and he realizes that the star doesn't just lie outside of himself. The star actually is from within. We recognize our star external to us because of who we are, because our soul within is crying out for it. There's that sense of, we understand that the magic, that the dream, what we want to shine into the world actually comes from within us. The light doesn't come from the star down to us. It's an interesting interplay. So there's a sense here of really honoring that your dream is not coming from without. That dream is coming from within. And I think for many of you, you might have found your light in the darkness recently, and that could be where there's a change here. You might have gone through a difficult time in your life that really forced you to look within, to find what you uniquely shine into the world. And there's a sense of almost that there could be a change coming through. That might mean, again, with the Justice card coming in, that there is a job move that is coming in as an opportunity, a change in job, a change in a relationship. When we think about making or breaking of contracts, this could be selling a home, this could be signing a marriage contract, this could be all those things. And yet there's a sense of not wanting to face that with the Seven of Swords. And I think there has been that integral change. There has been a truth and awareness of the self and a new connection to the self. And yet there's a sense here of like, I don't want to deal with what might have to happen out here with the Justice card, where something might have to be balanced differently. And I think there's that fear of, this could be like saying, I really have to, I just had a child and, it took me a long time. That Ten of Swords can be something where maybe you did have a financial strain years ago and you had to work your way up to getting to where you are now. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just had a child and this is wonderful. And you're realizing I want to stay at home with this child. But then there's this fear that creeps in of like, but then what if I go back to that time when I had no money? How am I going to make this happen? And there's a realization here of, but you're realizing a dream within your heart. You're realizing a call that your soul is asking you to follow. And yeah, maybe this means that you have to rebalance your priority from work to home. Lean into love and lean into the knowledge that having gone through that difficult time financially, now how to budget your money. Possibly if there's somebody else working with you here, you could say, let's do this together. Let's make this work together. How can we do that? Now it could be also where all of a sudden you have inspiration and you want to move to another country and your partner doesn't. There could be something along those lines and you're realizing, but this is my dream and I have to follow it. And it might mean that for a time I have to be without my partner. It can manifest in many different ways, but I think there's a sense of trying to avoid what you've recognized within your soul, what your soul yearns for, because it's going to change something fundamentally in the balance of your, fundamentally in some aspect of your life. We have the Hanged Man fly off the table. Okay, so you have the High Priestess and the Hanged Man. There is a sense of seeing something from a new perspective, of getting very much in tune with your inner knowing. That's the High Priestess. The High Priestess speaks to having made a decision from within, but she is just sitting with it. There's this sense of, I think for many of you, what this love is. So there's the King of Wands again for the King of Pentacles. Yeah, there's definitely a relationship there between the two. The Hanged Man and the High Priestess could be that you might be seeing what you've been intuitively called to in a new light. It could be that you're actually maybe for the first time trusting your intuition, trusting the call that you feel, and you're finally able to, I think, come up from maybe being in a place of suspension. The Hanged Man is someone who hangs himself upside down from a tree, waiting to gain a new perspective and clarity. So there's a sense of having to kind of stop, having something perhaps, be in a state of suspended animation until finally you receive that divine vision and then coming up out of it. So for some of you that might have felt like you were kind of stuck in maybe moving forward or waiting for that change in perspective. And with the High Priestess, I think there's a sense here for many of you that you have received that information intuitively. And now you are able to almost have that renewal of self, the Ace of Cups. Now we have the Five of Swords and the King of Wands. For some of you, this may be where you are trying to fight to stay in, I could look at this in some of the examples I've been given where this is somebody who's like, but I want to continue, being the manager of my company, even though there's something within that says it's time for you to focus on your family. This could be like where you've always been the King of Wands and it's like, okay, but you can keep fighting for that, but your heart is crying out for something different. This could also be for some of you where there could be someone in your life who is maybe embodying this energy as well, where they're the one who's kind of maybe not wanting to acknowledge the passion or the change in perspective. But I'm almost getting the feeling as I'm sitting here just looking at the Five of Swords with I think for some of you, you might be fighting yourself a little bit of, again, fighting that you're being asked to step into this position of leadership and authority in your own life. And there's a sense of like, but I don't know if I can do it. I'm exhausted. I'm stressed out. I don't know if I can actually ascend to the throne and rule from a place of what I'm passionate about. And so there's a sense of trying with the Five of Swords to kind of like push. It's like somebody saying like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. There's no way. So much has to change if this is what's going to happen. This could even be like somebody trying to push away starting their own business, where they're like, no, it's too much. Like, yes, I know it's my dream. Yes, I know I'm inspired by it. Yes, I love it. Yes, it's bringing something out in me that I've always wanted to share. But I mean, the reality of it is most businesses fail. And there's no way. There's something like that coming through here. And I think for many of you, it's the realization that you have another in your life experience that can help you get there. Because again, there's the Four of Wands, building that firm foundation. And there's something about trusting yourself as well, Virgo, that you have the ability to yes, ascend to that throne, to be responsible for acting from what you're passionate about and bringing that into your life experience. And with the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Pentacles coming in as your third underlying energy, there's a sense of really getting focused. Here you had that Ace of Pentacles. With the Tower, there's a fresh start. And there's a sense of now really getting to that place where you are nurturing that pentacle. You have a long-term vision for it, and you are ready to hold space, have the patience, and again, have the focus of growing that fresh start, this pentacle, into something more for yourself. Obviously, the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Pentacles can also be seen as the expectant or pregnant mother. So again, there's a lot of themes of pregnancy or having children that are coming through in here. But there's a sense of really getting to that place where what are you holding space to create? Where do you want to focus on growing more of something in your life? How are you going to capitalize and nurture this Ace of Pentacles? And this could be, where if you maybe aren't the parent who wants to stay at home, this could be where you're the other half of the coin and you're like, you know what? Okay, yeah, I am ready to take that job, elevation, or I'm ready to take, I know they've been trying to push me to be a manager for years. Okay, and I'm finally just going to say, you know what? My family needs me. I'm realizing a dream of mine to be supporting a family, and I'm going to I'm going to sign the dotted line and take that promotion. That could be something along the lines too. This can definitely be, looked at in both ways. If it's purely work, this could just be somebody who is, again, being asked to, or it could be passion, like let's put it back on going abroad and totally living in a new country, because that's your passion, that's your dream. There could be a sense here of, can I really do that? Can I really, take control of my life and be responsible enough to go to a new country and get everything lined up and still stay financially stable and still whatever? And it's saying, well, yeah, if that's the fresh connection, if you went abroad and you were like, oh my God, I have never felt so alive, so connected to my life experience, and it took your towers down, and for the first time you saw that there's a whole great wide world out there. Well, when you go back home to start to make the plan and to start to maybe break contracts, break a work contract, break a housing contract, whatever it is, to allow you to go move to a new country, this would be like saying, okay, that's your fresh start. Now you're free. So how are you going to nurture that? How are you going to focus on that? How are you going to focus on, okay, now that I'm moving to this new country, what do I need to do? How can I start to build that foundation? Who can I partner with? Maybe I'm going to find a real estate agent. Maybe I'm going to find a person who's going to help me find a job or the home that I've always been dreaming of. And I'm going to trust myself that in stepping into that role of being personally responsible to follow my passions and to express them in the world, that I will be the one to build a new foundation someplace else, and one that is supportive of me and my creativity and my passion, which is beautiful. Something we should all look to do, because that is, I do feel, the fullest, it's the reason why we're here. It's simply to live our passion and to see what that passion can create for ourselves and possibly others. Shining our light into the world. And you are definitely in a place to do that here, Virgo. Okay, so you got 3 cards. Ooh, I'll definitely just read a short excerpt from each one. So we got 3 cards to finish up your reading here. We have Initiation by Fire, number 22, which is a master number in numerology, which represents the master builder, the master architect. So there's a sense here of getting to a place where something is being burned away to allow for a new foundation to be built. Again, the 4 of Wands. Then we have the 7th ray of ritual, order, and ceremony, number 44, which is not technically a master number, but it's a repeated number that really speaks to the angelic realm. I look at it as speaking to divine timing, but also a number of like ultimate manifestation, because it's 2 number 4s. It's building those firm foundations. They come together to have the number 8. So there's a sense here of personal empowerment and physical abundance that comes through. And then we have reassurance of the golden light, number 36, breaking down to the number 9, which the number 9 is, for me, a number of alchemy. It's a number of magic, a number of kind of universal wisdom and learning lessons that we can apply in the next cycle. So let's start here with number 22. We have initiation by fire. It says, initiation by fire is a life-changing spiritual cleansing. Your life will never be the same again. Allow the power of divine fire to clear and purify you inside and out. This is not a time to hold on to anything, no matter how much you once believed you needed it. Definitely the Tower. Definitely the Ace of Wands. This is like that spark of creativity, a spark of inspiration, a spark of creation, just as, through a child, whatever it is literally allowing you to burn away everything and let the Tower come down. It says, in letting go, you will gain so much more than you ever imagined, opening to fresh blessings and new life. You are like the phoenix, ready to emerge from the holy flames, reborn. And then we have number 44. I think that's actually the last. Yep, it is. It's the very last one in this. Last card in this deck. It says, 7th ray of ritual, order, and ceremony. When the gift of the 7th ray enters your life, something new is being formed, something that will benefit your world. There may be an increased interest in magic, ceremony, and ritual for healing purposes. Resonating with high-frequency violet light and the archangel Zadkiel, the 7th ray also helps transmute energy from lower to higher frequency. It is a spiritual cleansing agent that allows the truth of spiritual freedom, empowerment, and choice to be seen and felt, restoring hope and joy to the heart. And I love that focus right there, where it is an agent that allows the truth of spiritual freedom, empowerment, and choice. Meaning there's a sense here of really being able to choose the experience you want in your life at this point and having all the tools to do so. And then we have number 36. Reassurance of the golden light. It says, this golden light comes to you as a gift of grace and reassurance. It is an embrace from the universe, an expression of divine comfort, and a sign of hope. When the golden light appears, it is a sign that everything in your life, even the most troubling matters, is going to work out perfectly. They are held in the graceful hand of the divine and will be resolved more swiftly and beautifully than you might expect. Yep, I think that ties up your entire reading perfectly. There's a sense of surrendering to what your soul is yearning for. Also a sense of surrendering to what the Wheel of Fortune has brought in for you. And in doing so, you are going to be able to be asked to step into a position where you get to lead from what you're passionate about. And you get to build a new foundation moving forward based on what you're passionate about. And it's going to be, I think, based off of what's coming in here, it's going to be a very freeing cycle if you have the courage to really listen to what your heart is yearning for and really listen to what that spark of inspiration is burning away for you as well. All right, I will leave you there, Virgo. Very, very positive reading. I hope you all have, again, a wonderful rest of your day. If you would like to book a personal reading where you can look at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next soul illumination reading. Bye, Virgo.